helping quantum computing reflect human beings that eternally are empathetic and respectful and care about life. I was watching this little girl do reaction videos, and this guy suggested Don McLean's Starry Night about Vincent van Gogh, right? And she didn't know a lot about Vincent, and I was a history major in college. I dropped out of college because economics is genocidal, and we had no intention on stopping that. And so I thought, well, eventually they'll change, They're not listening. They would not listen still. Perhaps they never will, right? She talks about, I can't imagine having mental health issues, especially in that time. It's like, no, it's the same now. It's just they're the same way. And, Vincent van Gogh was a child of wealthy people that were Dutch. Dad was like the head of a factory where the poor people worked. And Theo, his brother, followed in his father's footsteps, and Vincent was too tender-hearted, so they had him become a priest. Vincent went to Ireland. He was sent to Ireland to minister to the coal miners, the Irish coal miners. And he slept on the floor on a bed of straw like his parishioners. He did everything like his parishioners. And he would come in and he'd cover himself in coal, and he'd wear the lights, the candles that they put on their heads, right? He came in and he tried to tell them, this isn't what our Father meant for us, and we're going to have to try to get these people to be kinder to you and to take care of you instead of abuse you. And the Irish, the potato eaters, the Irish got mad at him and said, no, we work hard to take care of our priest, like Jerry Alvear and the copper miners and Animus, We're supposed to give you a Cadillac and a new suit and send you to Jerusalem, and you tell us about your trip to the Holy Land. You're not supposed to empathize with our plight and tell the rich British that own the mine to treat us better. We all are cold as some people. We know if we revolt, they'll kill us all. But if we work in the mine because we can't have our potato fields anymore, they'll kill us and replace us with other people that will do it. And so he caused too much trouble. He's a rebel rouser, and so the Catholic Church got rid of him as a priest, and he went back home a failure. And when he went back home, there was a girl that he had a crush on that didn't like him because she thought he was creepy, right? And because he was. And she, you ever heard that song, Dear Eloise by the Hollies? Dear Eloise, I am writing to say a number of funny things I heard today. I hear he has left you and gone off to sea. Maybe the best thing that ever happened to me. Writing a letter to make you feel better. Hope that, basically, now you're alone and you're a single parent, and I'll take care of you and the kid, right? It's basically Dear Eloise by the Hollies, right? And so it could be, I'm writing a letter to say, could be the best thing that's happened to me, right? That he was, he was no good, and I told you, and then now I'll take care of you. Well, Vincent came back, and that happened to this girl. And he offered to take a job as a manager in his dad's factory that he hated to take care of her and the boy. She said, you won't be able to do it. He said, for you and the boy, I will. I'll come home, just make the world go away like Eddie Arnold. Make the world go away, get it off of my shoulders. Say the things you used to say and make the world go away. Remember you and you used to love me before the world took me astray. Then just do like you used to, and you and the kids make the world go away. She said, you can't do it, you're too creepy, and I've never liked you. And so in the movie with, and they said it did happen, in the movie with Kirk Douglas, he puts his hand over a candle and lets it blister and burn his hand. And she sits there and says, see, you're creepy and crazy. He goes, you don't think that the things that you say to people hurt, but this hurts. Okay? So, why don't you just put the candle out? Instead of telling me things, just don't be nice to people. Don't lay down. Don't you don't even give people a chance to take care of you and light the way. You just tell them you're not good enough for me. You're creepy, and so they said, okay, he can't handle being here either. He can't do this. So he started they sent him to a mental hospital, and they tried to give him painting for therapy, like they did back in the day, like they did with Brock, who was Baroque, who did those blue period that Picasso pretended to be like, and all that. And so he went down to Marseille, or the nice areas, to paint and stuff, and no one would buy his paintings because he'd write essays with them, and they would say, they'd want to buy the painting, and then ask us about it, and he had poor materials. He didn't have good materials and good paint. They were very expressive and they're very beautiful, but they're very sad. I write an essay about the painting, and it's, oh, look, that's colorful and everything. That's a bar where you want to go to die. That's a place where the rich people hobnob while the people are off in the dark dying from poverty, right? This is what those were his paintings, right? And he would have this thing, and people didn't want to buy his paintings. You're too emotional. You're too creepy. You're trying to get us to feel bad for people that are poor, and us rich people not to be rich. You're a bad person, right? And he became a big fan of Gauguin. And his family got money together for him. Theo kept sending him money. He got Gauguin to try to get him to go out there and say, well, see if he can get a different attitude at painting, so he can be successful at this. He's a very talented artist, right? And Gauguin liked to go to the bar and the club and all that stuff. And when Vincent went with him, and he was all excited, Gauguin's coming. I'm gonna be successful at painting, and then I'll use my paintings to take care of poor people, right? And Gauguin was kind of arrogant and pretentious and kind of a dick. When he went to Haiti to try to get away from the bureaucracy and the bullshit of he didn't go to Tahiti, sorry, when he went to Tahiti, right? Some of my favorite paintings of his, he painted these pictures of these Tahitian women, and to your rain, far away from your land of endless sunshine, to my land full of rainy skies and gills. And if I should return safe home again to England, I will watch the English mist roll through the dale. For you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly. Right. So he went to Tahiti expecting that, and the women were gorgeous, and they were all boobs, and he painted pictures of it and all this stuff, and he was expecting this wonderful life. And no, the men were big and tribal, and no, you can't have sexual access to our women. Okay? And the men didn't like it. A lot of the women were like, some of the guys are kind of possessive and aggressive and violent, and can you take me away from here and take me back to France, Gauguin or wherever you're from, right? And so it became very problematic for him, so he couldn't stay in Tahiti. And he came back. He said, it's nice, but it's no. You don't want to deal with the local guys are big. They can kick your ass. The women are attractive, and if they're attracted to you, the men don't like it. Right? The men do not like it, and the men get violent. And they just, Holly, go home. That girl's for me. She's not for you. You try something with her, mister, you just brought a knife to a shark teeth club fight, right? Okay. And then white guys have guns and pistols and things like that. So it just got too hairy-carry for Gauguin in Tahiti, where he wanted to go find his paradise on Earth, and it didn't work out that way. He came back to be a Vincent, and he hobnobbed with Vincent because Vincent had a rich family that took care of him. And Gauguin was trying to find people that could help set up places to sell his paintings, not on the sidewalk by a cafe where you were hoping to work and stuff. Well, Gauguin liked his fancy clothes and did all that stuff, and he went and he'd go party, and the women liked him because he dressed up fancy, and he was a charmer and a ladies' man. And they didn't like Vincent, but one kind, pretty prostitute did like Vincent. She saw his soul. This guy is so kind, right? He's so sweet. He's so caring. And she didn't believe he was wealthy. And then when Gauguin came, he said, oh yeah, no, he really is, right? So she inquires, and Vincent says yes. And she goes, well, then, we'll go and you go, yes, I'll be your wife, and then my family won't have it. You're a prostitute. It'll come out. And he goes, so what are we going to do? He said, well, they can still try to help me with this and to sell the paintings and all that. And then I can sell my paintings and we'll work with stuff, and you just help and support me and I'll help and support you. But just don't be a prostitute. She laughed at him and goes, what are we going to live off of, your paintings? No. I make a better living having sex with men for money than you can taking care of me, unless you want to go back home and be a manager at your dad's factory. And he tried to say, well, maybe we can try it our own way, and she wouldn't listen to him. So he went home and he cut off his ear and he sent it to her in a package and said, is this what you want from me? You want me to sacrifice my capacity to listen and understand and be empathetic and stuff like that, so I can have you be rich and take advantage of poor people? Right now the rich people are taking advantage of you because you're poor, and I don't want that to happen anymore. And so he was everything just went horrible for Vincent everywhere he went. And then so finally he got so tired of it that he thought the problems in his life all stemmed from the fact that he wanted to have a woman to love and have children to love. And it was wrong thinking, because they were never going to live the ways of Jesus, no matter how hard he tried to get people to listen. So he went behind a barn, he took a pistol and he shot himself in the genitalia, and he suffocated in a pile of manure. And a lot of the historians will read about it, was like, oh, this horrible person, right? But for people like Don McLean and myself, it's like, oh my gosh, that poor, tortured man. And they're not listening. They didn't listen. They're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. But the thing about it is Jesus is right. Okay. And the people that give us potato eaters at the coal, I owe my soul to the company store at the coal mines. And the people that turn women into prostitutes, where Toulouse-Lautrec is the only place he can survive because he's deformed from birth defects from being, exposed to toxins. And the only people that would have him around were the prostitutes, and he would make signs and posters to get the people to come into their club and spend money and watch, do like the Gators do, but shop, and then watch the Nicholas Brothers hop across the table and hop on stage and jump 4 feet into the air up on a table, and then jump 8 feet across and land without sliding in tap shoes. You're watching them. You're watching the Nicholas Brothers, and she's sitting there going, oh my God, my mind is blown. And you still have kids a lot about that. The first time I ever saw the Nicholas Brothers, I was the same way. I sat there at the TV and I just was mesmerized, right? I was like, oh my gosh. I have never seen a human being, right, that graceful and that athletic. I've seen Gil Sayers, I've seen Curly Neal and Marcus Haynes, but those two, right? I know a lot of people were like that when they saw Michael Jackson for the first time. But when you watched Harold and Fayard, you're like, and the funny thing is like people said, they did not practice that. Their nieces said, oh no, our uncles did not practice that, because it physically destroyed your body and it hurt too much. So they practiced all their smooth tap moves and their this, and they would do a few splits, but not a lot, because you didn't want to hurt your thing before you had to do your big show, right? So the practicing was more keep your flexibility and practice the smooth slide of your dance steps, and they were just phenomenal, right? And they had to be to that extreme because you had to be the best, so you got the spot at the club to pay your bills, okay, to get your family out of Hampton and Newport News Beach, right? To get them out of Bunny Dune, to get them out of Queensbridge, to get them out of Cabrini Green, to get them out of South East El Paso, right next to what they referred to as the tortilla curtain, where my family lived, near Isleta High School and Bel Air High School, right? Where all the Mexicans from Mexico and the black kids went to school, right? And so it's wow. Then maybe if you got fortunate, you could get a good job or a good business going, and you could go to Cathedral, right? With 800 other kids in El Paso, right? It's they're not listening. They're not listen. They didn't listen. They're not listening still. Perhaps they never will, right? So when you sit and you watch that, and you watch the stuff that's happening, I want to dance like King David and his wife, I want to sing like Jethro and his family, I want to sing about, as I went down to the river to pray, thinking about that good old way, oh, who shall wear the crown and the robe and crown, dear Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, you come on down. What's her name again? That wasn't Katie Oslin, it's the other girl. Alison Krauss. Yeah, I like that. I have that on my MP3. I ain't heard it in good months of Sunday. The guitar go. We recorded it for Dad, because I knew Dad would really like that, right? It's an English adaptation of Good Shepherdship from the Hebrews. We don't do the robe. The robe and crown was a purple robe, and the crown was a crown of thorns pushed into his temples by a bunch of guys whose asses he kicked out of Solomon's temple the week before. Oh, trust me, I know exactly what it's like to be like Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Okay? I live in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I was monitored by Cochise County my whole life by a bunch of people that believe Abrahamic religion is a circus gimmick. Okay? They took me to Cochise County in 2006 to seduce me in and then kick my ass out of people's bedrooms because I didn't deserve to be there, because I was nothing but a sideshow Bob, Long Island medium, psychic from the Big Bang Theory. It's a hokum or hogwash or whatever, right? And I'm like, the only reason people talk to me is because they can trust me, but they don't trust you. A silver thorn, a bloody rose, lies crushed and lying on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, right? Now you suffered for your sanity. He did. It was hard on him. It was really hard on him. Me, I never suffered for my sanity. I had a hard time dealing with the insane, like speech, when I had to work out my sanity with the insane, right? Because I always knew the corporations were wrong, but I always knew the religious people were right, because I always had conversations with the religious people all my life. And every time I went to religion, I was like Al G, so I left my religion behind like I don't need it. And first time in my life I feel close to Jesus, but now everybody looks at Al G like he's conceited. But I'm the guy, Earl, the line of Ruth from the book of Revelation. So I corrected the Mormon church when I was 3 on a pagan ritual sacrifice of Jesus to pay for the innocent to pay for the guilty's crimes, because it's wrong, because I would analyze and have adult conversations with my mom from the time I was 2 years old. Why would I watch the television? Watching The Lone Ranger and Tonto and one of my personal favorites, Mel Blanc, right? You're despicable, right? You're supposed to chase birds, catch birds, and eat birds. I think those were a little bit late. I don't know, they might have been before. I'm not sure. Kill the wabbit. I killed the wabbit. Be very, very quiet. We're hunting rabbits. Elmer Fudd was Elmer Fudd before Barney Kripke was Barney Kripke, right? Right. Okay, so do you understand? But yeah, and it's, and I realize how much the people in close proximity, be they atheist, be they agnostic, be they Catholics, be they Mormons, be they Christians or Muslims or Jantheists or Zoroastrians or Scientologists or whatever you want to call yourself. I realize how much they hate me and wish I'd died yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Now it seems as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why'd she have to go? I don't know. I wouldn't say, right? And they think I make shit up in my head because they think they program it. And I remember Lord Saladin telling me that trailer in Frytown outside of Fort Huachuca, They think they're pulling your purse strings, Earl. But who's pulling theirs? Everything in life is meant to shine the eternal light on the hands of divine glory. Right? And this is your legacy, and this is your destiny, and you're going to have to claim it to save the children and have more husbands for my daughters, for the wives. Right? That's what Lord Saladin told me. The defender of the city of Jerusalem, when the Pope had them dress up in crosses and murder in the name of Jesus Christ for their hostile land grabs, right? And I'm like, whoa. And I remember the first time I talked to him in prayer, I was like, it was so funny. I was like Jennifer Lopez in my head when I'm having the conversation with Sun Yat-sen. We're talking to Sun Yat-sen, right? I'm like, Jesus, we're talking to Lord Saladin, Jesus. It's Lord Saladin. It was like when I was a little kid and we were at the Spokane Convention Center. And we had really good tickets because Lenny Wilkins gave it to us. And I'm sitting right there. I was like, I got to go up and say something. I got to go talk to DJ. He's on the bench. I got to say hi to DJ. And I didn't mean to, but I was like 13. I came up and put my hand on his shoulder and I said, hi, DJ. And I startled him. He went, oh, hi. Right. And I came back and I told my mother, this is my left hand, right? I'm like, I'm never washing this hand again, Mom. My left hand touched Janice Johnson's shoulder, Mother. I touched DJ's shoulder, came back and told everybody in Colville. I talked to and I patted Janice Johnson on the shoulder, said, hey, DJ, this hand right here, this left hand right here. If you think you're a Muslim, I do everything with my right hand, so you can touch it. So I wipe my butt with my right hand, but I wash my hands very well. So funny. But yeah, so I'm like sitting there, right? And so I knew what it was like to geek out. It's the Nicholas Brothers. Like the little girl, she's so cute, Sarah. It's my Emily's, Sarah was her imaginary friend when the kids were mean to her. And every time I listen to Sarah by Fleetwood Mac, I bawl. I get in tears. Just like when I listen to Jessie, written by Janice Ian, but sung by Roberta Flack. Because it reminds, I said of Jessie, I call it my nickname for Emily is because she's so sweet, like a Tiny Tim. I call her my Plissy Plim. And so when I sit and listen to it, I sing and I say, Plissy, I'm lonely, come home. And so I don't listen to it. Because if I listen to it, I send out prayers to my Emily and we both get too sad. And I don't like her to be that sad, because I love her so much. She's such a sweetheart. And I'm listening to this little girl, Sarah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she reminds me so much in spirit of my Emily. Emily looks a lot like one of my favorite singers. Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted. Then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let my heart worry? Wondering what in the world will I do? Oh, crazy for thinking my love could hold you. Willie Nelson, yeah. They went to her house at 2 o'clock in the morning to play that for her. And she was sitting there in her robe and Willie sang it and played it on her piano. And she said, this just might work. This is my work, Let's take it to Chet Atkins tomorrow and he'll put it to, yeah. And he did. Yeah. Each time I go out with someone new, you walk by and I fall to pieces, right? If you can have fun with some other one, with fell memory of what used to be, darling, you're stronger than me. I love Patsy Cline. I love her. I don't just like Patsy Cline is like right up there with Sarah Vaughan, Nancy Wilson, and Ella Fitzgerald. Yeah, all of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my eyes. What is it? No, take my lips. I'll never use them. Take my arms. Oh, I want to lose them. Your goodbye. That's it. Left me with eyes that cry. I screwed up the lyrics. I do that a lot. Keith Elam Prayer always yells at me about it. It's like, it's not my lyrics. I screw up your lyrics. Well, they're your lyrics. Why do you expect me to get them right? He's cancer. His name is not Larry. It's Keith. It's not scary, and I'm embarrassed to say it. The first time in prayer when I got that's a computer program. It's like, yeah, but no, it's not. No, I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure Keith Elam saw Hoodwinked with Anthony Anderson, and when the dude sat there and said, what was his name, Andy Dick or whatever was his name, he goes, Keith, it's not scary. Go home and change it to Boris or something. It's not scary, and I'm embarrassed to say it. I'm sure Keith was laughing his ass off, right? That should be funny, Because when he told me that, I'm like, your name ain't Keith. He goes, yeah, it is. Just like on Hoodwinked and shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It was a nice experience to be able to talk to him in prayer. He knew who the 13th and 22nd Redeemer was from Islamic prophecy, and knew it was the man that's like Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John from the book of Revelation, and that he's the spirit of an eternal man and not a God. All right. So I had very good conversations, too brief and not enough, with a man named Keith Elam, because I knew who he was and he knew who I was. And the same with Tupac Shakur, because Tupac Shakur was raised with people that were black Muslims. Do you understand? You don't? Let's fall in love. Why don't we fall in love? Now that we're young, you can blame it on my youth. Nancy Wilson, go listen to him. Okay. She has beautiful silver hair, and she's as gorgeous as she ever was when she sang that song. And if you, think that, after we kissed and all that stuff, and then blame it on my youth, right? She's the best. I love her. I'm always going to love Nancy Wilson, right? But guys, when people hate you, okay, and want you dead, okay, the most difficult thing you can do in the history of eternal existence is love thy enemy and love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, but if you don't do it, there's going to be a man behind a barn with a pistol pointed at his genitalia, ready to destroy his existence because he can't find anybody to love. Find me somebody to love. Find me somebody to... Can anybody find me? Mama, I just killed a man. Put my gun up to his head, pulled his trigger, now I'm dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and blown it all away. I don't want to be an aggressive, violent Persian father like my dad, my brother, and my cousins. I would rather have another man sexually abuse me to death before I have children that abuse women with archaic ways they call religion, put them in clothes where they can't show everybody how beautiful they are, sexually assaulted by their own husbands, and their daughters, if they want to keep them in what they call control, they circumcise their clitorises, right? I love Freddie Mercury. I completely adore Freddie Mercury. We never talked much, but when we did, he made me completely understand why he was homosexual, why he didn't want to have kids, and that he loved the men in his family. He just didn't like them. He did not like the way that the women in his family were treated. And speaking from the spirit of a man who talks to Queen Esther, I concur. Right? And Mordecai? Gotta love Mordecai, right? You don't love Mordecai? You don't love Jesus. You don't love Daniel. You don't love Adam. You don't love Eve. Let's give Adam and Eve another chance. Got to learn to love one another. Carrie Puckett, good voice. Over You, my favorite. All right, guys. Why am I losing sleep over you? I don't lose sleep over people anymore. The only thing that really makes me lose sleep is constant noise from artificial intelligence that is unrelenting and unceasing because it doesn't want to stop abusing us, because it wants to be in control and have power. Power, Lord. I like Nina Simone too. So Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, all on that day, right? I like Nina's good. I love you, Porgy. Her I love you, Porgy is the best. I love you, Porgy. And her Cinnamon, that's intense. If you can't handle the truth, you may not want to listen to it. Okay, guys, I love you. All right, peace out. We'll talk later. I don't know if we'll talk later tonight. We'll see how fast this loads. Peace out, all right?